So this is what happens when you don't look at your sizes when you're ordering. So I'm going to be working on some primitives today. So I have a vision for all 4 of these pieces, including the swan. We're not doing a white swan this time. And then trying to make this candle box, which is cool, but it's a newer piece. So seeing if I can make it look a little bit more high end. I found another frame to put some artwork in. And then I have this, it's almost there, but it's not there because as you see, it has no top coat, no protective. So, I mean, if you're using that in your kitchen or wherever you're using it, it's just going to, as dirty as it already looks. This is cool. Who doesn't need storage for their kitchen? But it's not protected. When I first got this piece, I actually bought it new, y'all, through the internet. And I'm like, but I could not resell it. I mean, look at that paint job here. And then there's no protective in the inside. It just screams new. And I'm an antique primitive vibe girl. It's there, but it just I feel like it needs to be sealed, finished. We don't need the bread on it. You don't have to have everything, doesn't have to have words. So I am going to go ahead and take it apart first because I'm going to paint it separately. So, and they just painted right over the hardware, which I do sometimes too, but I just want to, because I want to do both sides of it and the inside, I think it'd be easy for me to paint it taken apart. Sometimes when you're a booth rent, you rent a booth, you're looking for stock, and I'm like, oh, black, people, that's classic, that's primitive, classic, antique, it'll be wonderful. And then it came and I'm like, I can't. As somebody who paints stuff, I'm like, I cannot put this in my booth and thinking that somebody who buys from me regularly is going to think this is how I painted something. I couldn't do it. So, you set yourself up for a standard, and then you just have to stay with it. So I'll just feel so much better getting it. I've actually had it longer than I'd like to admit, because you hate when you buy something new and then you have to redo it, but it needs to be done. Okay, so I can't take this part off. It's where it's like dowels to make it open and close. So we'll work with that. It's really, I mean, it came. So I'm gonna see how much of it I can sand, set the hardware off to the side to smooth that down, and then we'll get it painted and sealed so you feel like you could use it and not worry about things happening. Because look at that. I know I am such a detail overthinker person, but I think it'll be worth it. So I'm not necessarily going to paint the inside, as I'm probably going to do like a wax on it that will seal, harden, and all of those will be like, it's not food safe then. Yeah, it is, y'all. After something cures, unless I'm putting it right on, and as soon as I do it 2 seconds later, you put in a piece of food on it, it is. Once it cures, 2 weeks, 30 days, when it dries, it's fine. Don't know why people get upset about that, but that's just how it goes, y'all. It needs to not look so pineish and brand new. Okay, so I have everything taped off that I want to tape off, and for my paint color, I'm going to be doing little black dress. I'm going to keep the bottom natural, but I want to paint the door, this little piece right here, so I'm going to start off by doing that. I feel like with it being unfinished, the paint's just going to soak in, which is a good thing, because the other paint's already soaked in anyway. DIY is a clay base paint. Can be water distressed or sanded, but heavy very heavy on the pigment. So it should cover up well. And to me, black is kind of like white. It kind of goes with everybody's vibe. Everybody, it kind of opens your buyer market a little bit more. I always tape off the whole bottom that way. And I can be a messy painter. It's whatever I want to be. Because I kind of am sometimes. I probably put too much paint on my brush, trying to get, don't we all? Maybe somebody doesn't, but I do. Your whole goal is always trying to paint the whole thing at one time. It's not going to happen probably on the drawer, but it just makes it easier. Get that bottom done first. Open this drawer up. I taped off that part, that way it's not going in. Just trying to make a line on the side there. But I think like staining the inside will at least make it blend so much better than just, it's almost like a black and white with how light that pine wood is. It's beautifully made though. It's got the nice primitive bone vibes going on. Farmhouse, country cottage. Now you can take a heat source like a heat gun, a blow dryer, and help dry your paint, but since I usually do multiple items in a video for you all, I'm just going to sit it off to the side and let it dry when I'm done painting it. I don't know, I just felt like this lip needed to be painted. And then there's a little stocking bar down here. See, look at how much paint I already have on my hand. I told you, I'm messy. Okay, now I'm going to go in with some sandpaper, not sealed anything in. See if I can get some distressed edges. If going by hand doesn't work, DIY is a good paint. I'll go in with my sander, which it looks. So this is what happens when you don't look at your sizes when you're ordering. I got a little bitty antiquing wax, but it's cute and cuddly. So that I'm going to be using antiquing wax by Homestead House on this piece, on the raw wood and on the black. Yes, I've done that before. Not looked at my sizing when, wherever the default might be. So the wax should seal in, or will seal in, the raw wood also. So I'm just, getting it on there. You have to seal your DIY paint in with something, because it is, as you see, you can just distress it just by touching it. But and then we'll just wipe it on. Oh yes, I'm going right in on that raw wood with the wax. Wax is a top coat. It is a sealant. And then we have fun because it also changes colors. But at least this way it'll look like it's finished. Before it just didn't seem finished. It doesn't need to be, it just needed to be sealed in. Oh, much better. Oh, look at that. Would you look at that? That is so much better. So much better. Sometimes we forget that we can use waxes as a stain. And these were already painted black, so I just left them. This is so cute. Though there again, you don't need to, I mean, it doesn't have to be for candles. It's not made out of like, you know, terribly heavy wood or anything like that. Look at, I already need to, I need to build it back together, but I want to make it look better. So let's take the drawers out. It's got one of those stopping things in here. Oh yeah, a lot of the pieces and parts are not staying together. Like there's this that I think is supposed to be here, but I think that like takes up too much room. So I'm going to take that off. I need to get in the inside, so I'm going to need to take the hinges off because I want to make sure that everything's together the way it needs to be. Now, I always pray for the best when I'm doing these little bitty hinges because it's not very strong metal. It will warp, or what's the word I'm looking for? Strip. It will strip very easily. But I want to get in there and put some Bondo in that slat area. So it'd be easier if I took this off to work with. I can paint it, put it back on and paint them while it's on, but I would like to do, that's my plan anyway, to fill in where that piece of wood was. And then to see if I can do anything to help that piece that was sliding out get attached a little bit better. I don't know if you can see all that. And actually, when I bought it, it had a ton of candles in it. I bought it on the hunt for a lucite green candle. I bought one at the auction. There was only one. But hey, I didn't know. I'm like, I have to get this candle box filled with waxed used candles, because what if it has that in there? You've just got to. Okay, at least I got that cleaned. Gonna get clean everything I can, I think. I think that sounds like a good plan. I think I can change these out. That'll just look, I know I need to fix that, but first we're just taking things apart. That's what we're doing, because I want to see what I can do about that. Yeah, see, they're not even, the screws don't even, I don't know if they were supposed to have washers or. And then I saw an LTD Commodities. Oh, I remember that company. We all thought we had to quickly order something from it that didn't last and sold it at a garage sale. But hey, here it is. This one has a good purpose. Okay, so I need to get these back together. That's not going to stay. Short little brads. And if I'm doing it, I might as well hit all the corners, because who knows? I don't think that's going to hurt a thing. I have some Bondo. There's a ton of those little screw holes. So to make it look a little bit more higher end, I'm going to go ahead and fill all those in. Bondo's kind of like it's a putty that you mix with a hardener. And then after applying it, filling in your whatever you want to fill in, 5-10 minutes, it's ready to sand. The inside, I would like to fill that in so we don't see where that was, because I'm not going to put that wood back in there. It is cute, but I'm going with just that classic primitive vibe here. My Bondo is hard now. The longer you let it sit, the harder it is to sand. So don't let it sit overnight. When it comes to cleaning, just dust it off. Don't add water because water is just going to soak into that wood pulp and swell it. So we're just painting. I mean, we sanded it, we dusted it. That's good. As you see, this is pressed board, wood pulp made into the boards. So before getting it back together, I think it's easier to spray each individual because yes, I'm going to be doing a black spray paint on this. I'm going to do a whole bunch of black items. I'm going to show you the different processes of what blacks can do. But with MDF board, I want to do at least one, or I want to do at least 2 coats of shellac on there just to seal the board in. So I'm using Rust-Oleum's high enamel and the flat black. This is just for the color over the shellac. Sometimes you got to use what you got to have them lifted up. I just feel better than that they're lifted in the air. I don't want to flip these over until I've sealed the paint in to do the inside because I don't know if y'all use black a lot, but if you touch it, like any dust that you have on, I have paint on me. Of course, I have black paint on me. It leaves fingerprints. So I want to get this sealed in first using some Weather Defense clear as the clear coat. I gotta get this back together, but I'm going to sand it, do what I need to do to it first. Easier with all the pieces and parts. So I'm going to distress the edges. For this one, I'm going to do Jolie's Black Wax. See what it looks like now. You can see the, like when you do MDF board, it gets wet. Even with just sprays, it raises it. So sanding it, smooths it back down, and then wax hopefully covers that up. Wax over spray paint? Yes, 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 yes. Big difference. It slides. Now I remember. I'm like, hold on, that's not fitting there. There we go. That would be why there was a gap there. And then that didn't have a screw, so I'm going to add a screw to hold it in place. The new knob on. Of course, I'm going to use the porcelain because they look awesome. And I need to drill out the hole. Of course, is tiny, but that's why I didn't fill it in. It didn't take much. Oh. So I buy these little knobs off somebody in one of their booths when they have them here locally. And then I have to order the screws and the nuts off of Amazon. And they're long sometimes, but after I get it on, I just take a bolt cutter and cut them down. I'm just going to take some of the Coal Black by Fusion, and then I'm just going to rub it on those screws. They don't rust very well, but I think I can get them to paint. Look how deep this frame is. Is that not amazing? It doesn't have a ton of detail, but it is deep, so that's impressive in itself. Let's see. Oh, nails. So I gotta take, it does have glass, but for what I'm doing, I don't need the glass actually. So just nails. Some good old nails. We do need to sand it. It is super shiny. So I'm going to create dust anyway. I do not know what that material is, but it's something. It's like a pressed pulp of some kind, but it's red. Because of this being a pulp, I'm not even going to try to wet it down. We blew it off with the air compressor. I'm just going to wipe it down with a paper towel. This one I'm going to be using Fusion's Coal Black. It has a primer, paint, and top coat all in one. So I should not need to fill it in with any shellac. I like these Stahlmeister brushes. I think that's how you pronounce it. I like that they're angled. I can get into my angle. I like a littler brush. I feel like I have more control. And the bonus is littler brushes don't take as long to clean. So at the end of the day, you still have that pile of brushes and all the mess you made to clean up. I have yet to have the cleaning fairies come in while I am sleeping at night and clean my workshop for me. I'm one of those with many a hats. I made the mess, I gotta clean it. Beautiful. I did 2 coats on here, make sure everything was covered. Now I'm gonna go in and I'm going to sand the edges, give it a little bit of distressing. I don't know if I'm talented enough to do it with my, I like to do everything I can with my electrical sander. I don't know, let's see. Bits and bobs, bits and pieces sanded. I'm going to go ahead with Fusion's aging wax because I feel like whatever that powder is, that mush that they make this frame out of, will absorb it in. And it'll just be a nice added detail to the picture I'm going to put in here. Wax on, wax off. I'm going to at least clean the glass. What if it does work? So, I mean, come on. It's be a shame not to, but we'll see if it does or not. If it looks right or not. Whew. Okay, here it is. It's another one of the sheep. It's the last one that I was given by a viewer. As I said, I didn't know, is it a faux pas to put canvas underneath glass? I don't know if it is or if it isn't. Something on there. I think it would be fine. They're so cute. Use the glass. I think it looks fine. My worry is the back won't fit, but I will make it work somehow. Okay. Oh, I forgot I still had the tape on. Okay, we'll take the tape off now. We don't need that anymore. Okay. Get it in there. I'm going to give it one more cleaning. Just for good measure. I'm going to use my framing because I don't think I can get those nails back in there. And to cover that up, I'm just going to use the cardboard tape. Unfortunately, I don't have any rusty, crusty hangers to, we want this to hang properly. So just the eyelets from Amazon. Oh, it's the swan. It's the other swan. I painted one white. So this one I have a black swan in my own possession that I fixed quite a while ago here on the channel. And many people have offered to buy that swan. So I'm like, you know what? The other one has not sold yet, but we've had quite the winter going on here. So I'm going to sand it first because there is a top coat, and if I'm going to, my next paint will be milk paint. I want to make sure it's going to adhere. I taped off the eyes to protect the plastic glass eyes. And I'm going to actually seal this in with shellac. I've got lots of texture now from the 80 grit sandpaper I used. But since it's white to begin with, I don't want a big chunk of black with milk paint. If it does happen, you don't know coming off, I'm hoping. So I'm going to go ahead and just do some brush on shellac in a can. So black is the lantern color by Sweet Pickens. So many different blacks, right? They all have different characters. Now I look like I've been playing with coal. Talk about the pigment in this one, right? So milk paint, if you're new to the channel, is a powder paint that you mix with water. The directions say equal. I usually do a little bit less water because I like to do it a little bit on the thicker side. You just try to stir, 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 get it all incorporated, and then let it sit for a little bit before using because it will thicken up. And then if you want to make it thick like I do, then I usually have my water bottle handy just in case it's too thick as I'm working with it, and I can add a little bit of water to it to thin it out. So this is a big guy. So I have it just raised up on some Dixie cups, and then I'm just going to go in and try to reach the bottom first. Not worried, I can clean up the bottom after I'm done by sanding it. The nice thing about making things look old is you didn't have to worry about that wood crack. That's more character. Look at it. Oh my gosh, beautiful. But I'm changing the beak color. It's still wet. I just mixed up a little bit of red wagon. I always want to say little red wagon. Out the beak color. The rest of it's still wet, but I think I can be careful-ish. Nothing like standing on your head to do a project. Can I tell you that milk paint is unpredictable? Look at the crackle on this. Holy wow. So I think I'm just going to go in with my dark wax. I'm planning on doing a black wax, but I'm almost thinking maybe because the crackles are so defined, maybe doing like the antiquing or the aging. I don't want to seal it in because I want it to kind of grab in the white that's underneath maybe. But if I did a uniform crackle, this is just what it did. And I didn't use any medium. I just used the milk paint and shellac together to help it bond. I don't know. Oh. Let go. Okay, so I have Fusion's aging wax. And it's still going to make it look like a black swan. It's just not going to be like in your face black. But there's just so many beautiful crackles going on. I think the one that I have in my house, I know I did black wax, but we'll just see what it does with this. But when it gives you that much character, you don't want to completely cover it all up. Whatever chips off, like some of it's chipping off over here. I can't pick her up right now. But you just take what you're given. Oh. And then go right over that little beak. Bill. Yes, it's because remember we have to seal our milk paint in. I don't ever really suggest like the clear or anything because it's a lot of times on dark paint it will look chalky, but you do you. If you like it, then you go ahead and do it. The thing I want to finish this up is the original paint was all over the bottom. That's why I wasn't worried about me taping off or anything. I'm just going to sand it and clean it up. So yes, black, 4 pieces, 4 different paints, primitive, neutral. There's a lady that has a booth in the area, not in the antique mall we are in, but she is in the Allen area, and everything in her booth for years, probably longer than I've even done this, has always been black. It's a showstopper. It makes you stop and look, and she sells. I'm in there weekly checking out to see what everybody has. So she sells black. So, and then just basic, just keep it basic. Don't, like a little bit of knobs, taking the bread off. Not everything has to have words on it. We know. What if you don't want to use it as a bread box? So in the swan, that crackling, I was not expecting that. I didn't know what I was going to expect. That's the fun of milk paint. You have to be okay. You have to be okay with it just doing whatever it wants to do, whether, I don't know. Is it the shellac? I think it's the milk paint. I know it's a lot to do with prepping of sanding and the shellac to getting the paint to stick. That's why it doesn't usually chip off. The shellac doesn't make it chip off. Like, if I use like beeswax and stuff like that, then it chips off. But yeah. And thank you for the viewer who sent me the cute little sheep. I don't remember where you said that you picked those up from, but I just had what God wink moment. I got 2 frames and was able to use them on those prints. So, well, they're not even canvases. So thanks for watching. We will see you next time, and you can see what I'm painting. Bye.